Greetings, viewers, and welcome back. RedRupee here with you, of course, with some Dawn of War 2 Elite mod action. I know it's been a long time since I've been on here, and this is the first video pretty much this year, and I apologize for that. Anyways, before we get started, there's been a lot going on in the Elite mod community. I want to catch you up just a little bit, perhaps. We have an ESL reporter app now at DoW2.info. It's a really cool app. It actually auto-logs your replays. We have a leaderboard now that you can start participating on, and there's one of my games right there. But it's a nice, simple app. It doesn't bog you down or anything. It just keeps track of your games, uploads them to the server. It's really cool, and now I don't have to harass players about sending me games all the time. I can just kind of scroll through here, find some good replays, and that goes for you too. If you're looking for specific commanders, players, anything like that, you can find them, check out their replays, learn some things, hopefully. And that said, of course, if you want a particular replay covered, feel free to still send that my way. Shoot that to me in an email with a little description. I'll be sure to check it out. And beyond that, let's see what else have we got going on. We had the monthly rumbles happening. Atlas, of course, heading those up, and Bebos, and a few other people, Adeptus Nubis. A lot of people streaming now, so go check out Twitch and make sure you check out the Dawn of War 2 Twitch channels and see who's streaming. I think DownOfWar.info also has an active list and log of who's streaming at one time, so you can always just stop by there. Just go to that site. That site's got everything you need. That's where you can download the ESL reporter as well. And oh man, it's also May 3rd, and there's some big Dawn of War announcement happening on YouTube over on the Dawn of War channel. That's not happened yet at the time of this recording, but if you're watching this now, you should be able to go over there. I don't want to get too excited. It might just be another Last Stand hero, or, you know, I don't know, maybe like a clothing line. That's what Dark Souls 3 did recently with a big announcement, and everyone was let down. But anyways, let's get back to the game here. On the blue side, we have Mr. Adila as the Tech Marine. I wanted to cast some Tech Marine action since I'm kind of out of touch here. Got to get back into the game. And on the red side, Big Mathis playing the Warlock. A nice aggressive Eldar here. Warlock's a lot of fun to play. Can really get in your face or play that kind of obnoxious run around the map kind of game. Either way, he's very versatile. Tech Marine, of course, the man with a gun for any occasion. We've got triple Dire Avengers coming on for Big Mathis right now. Tech Marine and Scouts just capping Requisition and Victory Points. Same lineup here for the Eldar. And triple Dire Avengers, not often what I see. You almost always see the two Dire Avengers in the Banshees, but maybe this is sort of the new meta. I don't know. I haven't been playing in so long, so I'm a bit out of touch with who's playing what these days. Adila gets himself some Tactical Marines, keeps them on the back line. Actually splitting up the Tactical Marines and the Tech Marine. Not always what I do. Normally I'll try to keep the Tactical Marines with the Techie to kind of go out and start shooting stuff up right away. Instead he's scouting ahead with those Scouts, getting a little forward recon going on there. Warlock going straight for the victory points, as we would expect for any good Eldar player, getting those VP pressure on early, as they can play that map control game so well, being such a mobile army. Tactical Marines now moving into the center after spotting that Warlock. He's still not sure the exact army composition. He doesn't know the triple Dire Avengers are on the field, but you can usually expect to see at least 2 squads on the field in this first engagement. Normally, as a Space Marine player myself, I tend to go for shotguns right out of the gate. Beautiful Destructor taking a nice chunk of HP off of those Tactical Marines in this first little scuffle. And you can see Big Mathis' first purchase. Big Mathis is, man, that's too many S's. But he's got himself an Exarch on those Dire Avengers, so he's going to be trying to make those a little tougher in the coming engagement. Tax down to about half HP. Tech Marine getting shot up as he wasn't in cover. Really probably should have stuck behind that green cover. He can really outshoot these Guardians if he sticks out in green cover for a while. And still no power on the... Oh, Adila's going for the second Tactical Marine squad. Normally you see double Scouts in one-on-one, but second Tac can certainly bring some bulk. Maybe he did see all 3 of those Dire Avenger squads and figures 2 Tacs is a good way to kind of deal with that. Scouts getting pincered there and deciding to get the heck out of there. Really not much else he could have done in that position. Good situationing here. Good flanking by Big Mathis on both of these engagements. Another Exarch on the field. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and kit up all of his Dire Avengers as it stands right now. Let's see. He does have a full gen farm as well. Hasn't really lost anything on the field yet. Good job against Tech Marine. Normally, Tech Marine and those Tactical Marines can pick off a few Dire Avengers in these first engagements, but it looks like so far, yeah, he hasn't lost any... Oh, he lost a single model over here, but that said, managed to completely push back Adila in this first little scuffle, so looking pretty good all around. Adila going very wreck heavy early on here with the double tax into a Devastator. Only one cap power node at the moment, no generators for him. Destructor goes down yet again on those tax, leaving them pretty beat up. They're going to try to get that cap, they just barely do, and pick off a Dire Avenger in return for that kind of aggressive push there by the Warlock. Warlock trying to just keep those guys from coming into an engagement at full health with those Destructor blasts, trying to whittle away whenever they can. Guardians hunkered down behind, or sorry, Dire Avengers hunkered down. We got all these cranes in the way, kind of blocking our view here. Let's see. Trying to just get some attrition in. The Space Marine don't look like they're going to be able to hold there. Ooh, even losing attack, unfortunately. Of course, you want to have to kill about 2 or 3 Guardians every time you lose attack, otherwise you're really falling behind. The second squad of attacks did manage to stall there just long enough for this Devastator to get into position, so at least locking down the Eldar forces, preventing them from advancing any further at the moment. Scouts managed to upgrade and get the cap on the center point there, but possibly venturing out a bit too far as 2 squads are moving in. Oh, both of these squads actually pretty well damaged though. Tactical Marines just barely getting out of there without losing a model. I expected one to go down there, but fortunately for Adila, he didn't lose any models at all, and now the Scouts getting the natural VP since Big Mathis is way up on the front there, and now Big Mathis does have Howling Banshees coming out on the field too. So double Tactical Marines and a Devastator just kind of begging to get some Banshees into position there, so those attacks are going to be in a lot of trouble. Scouts upgraded with the Sarge, actually able to tangle with these Dire Avengers pretty well now. Nice looking grenade, but unfortunately that Exarch was a bit too healthy to go down to that. But even so, he's going to have to fall back because those Banshees are coming in anyways. No Scouts go down there despite some silly little Dire Avenger judo kicks there. And the Warlock gets routed as well. Still no cap on this this contested power node. You can see Big Mathis still going for a relatively large tier 1, I guess. He's gotten a lot of upgrades on his Warlock. I was going to say it looked like he was keeping him vanilla, but he does have the Merciless Switchblade. He does have the Champion's Robe. That's going to make him a lot more potent, both offensively and defensively. That Champion's Robe lets him take a lot more damage with the shield, of course, and that Merciless Switchblade, pretty much a staple against Space Marine, because if Assault Marines come onto the field, that Merciless Switchblade pretty much denies that second jump, and just gives you a lot more damage in general. Special attack on that thing is particularly brutal as well. 2 squads of Tactical Marines and the Techie now on the gen farm of Big Mathis, going to take down at least a single generator, but it looks like there's a return attack here on the field for Big Mathis. Scouts are going to spot it, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold against both of these squads on their own. They're tucking a grenade down. It does, oh, nice reaction time from those Banshees. Those Banshees and Dire Avengers both managed to get out of the way, and the Scouts, without landing that grenade, have to get the heck out of there, and the gen farm for Adila may well be forfeit. That said, he did manage to get all 3 of the generators up top here, still vying for position against 2 squads of Dire Avengers. They are getting blasted pretty well. Oh, and the Warlock's down here right in the middle. I think that that Devastator team needs to be a little bit further up, because now with these both of these tacks very low on HP, that Merciless Switchblade manages to easily toss one of those Tactical Marines right over that stump there and send them flying. Warlock isn't going to be able to advance over here. Scouts still trying to get these Banshees off of the power. Did he lose just the 1 gen, or did he rebuild? Okay, this one's being rebuilt. So he did lose 2 generators, but now he managed to stop the remains of this gen bash over here. Scouts getting into position to scare off the last of those Dire Avengers. And the Warlock looks like he tried to push through that Devastator and failed. So 402 to 383 as Adila rebuilds that gen farm, gets back onto the field, and is starting to take the lead here on the victory point counter. Big Mathis, however, with a tech lead, heading into tier 2, well ahead of Adila. Adila is going to be able to hit that button maybe in about another 40 seconds or so, but going to have a slight advantage. Not a big deal against Eldar. You're not going to see anything quick like a Tyrant Guard or a Blood Crusher coming on in the field. But that said, Big Mathis does have, or did have, a significant power advantage. Of course, he only has the 1 generator now to the full gen farm over here of Adila's. And finally, those Scouts getting this cap. This is the first time this power node has been capped at all. so far this game. Warlock trying to find... Oh, he did. He got just outside of that firing arc, and now the Devastator recognizes he has to get the heck out of there. Banshee's on the opposing side, coming in with the flank, though. All they need to do is get in on those tacks and drop that howl. But Adila recognizes the danger. He can't get into that engagement with all that melee potential. With 2 squads of melee, or at least an entity and a squad, those tactical Marines would just get tied up, and it would only be painful for poor Adila there. So he's heading into Tier 2. Big Mathis is in Tier 2, but since he lost his gen farm, not really able to purchase anything as soon as he got in here. Scout's now fully upgraded with infiltration on top of all of that as well. Grenade goes down, juked, but both of the leading models on those squads get tossed into the air a little bit, but overall, no big losses on either side. Both sides just trying to figure out where they want to go. The map is quite firmly in Big Mathis's control throughout most of this match. You can see Adila does have the 2 power nodes capped, but that's about it. His natural VP is the only other point he's got on the field, and Eldar just showing how quickly they can take the map back once they force you off a single time. It's going to be interesting. There's not really a lot that Adila has to deal with these Banshees once that Devastator gets knocked off the field. Oh, he is getting Bionics, so that gives him a nice option. If he can keep the Tech Marine between his Tacks and the Banshees, which he should have been repositioning to do. There goes the powerful sweep. Beautiful. That knocks the Banshees on out of there. A powerful sweep is a great option for the Banshees. It's not as effective against the Warlock, especially with that shield. You can knock him back, but he can just get right back up and charge into combat. Sarge is coming down for these tactical Marines. Big Mathis getting Wraithguard, actually. I thought that was a Wraith Lord. The icons are so similar, but that is, in fact, Wraithguard. Against the current composition of Adila, I think that's perfect. A lot of folks, I feel like, would go for the Wraith Lord or the Falcon right here, but I think the Wraithguard is really solid. There's no real vehicle threat. The only thing he has, or melee threat either. So without Assault Space Marines, those Wraithguard will pretty much be unopposed. The Banshees would disallow that Tech Marine from getting into melee range, and of course the only other real variance on threat beyond the tactical Marines is that Devastator, and Wraithguard will make short work of that, certainly. You can see the map starting to fill up with webway gates. We saw one go down right there, but another one's popping up way out here in the corner, so maybe that'll stay out of sight. On this large map on Calderis, it's really tricky. Like, you'll often see these webway gates go down way along these edges of the map in these corners back behind those hoodoos and that sort of thing. Adila still looks like he's not really brought anything else onto the field in Tier 2. He's been spending a lot of money on upgrades, which, including these Tech Marine upgrades, which are certainly useful. Having both the high-powered shot and the Bionics allows the Tech Marine to kind of soft counter Banshees on his own. So even if the Banshees do approach the tactical Marines and the Techie, they'll have to deal with both suppression and knockback. So the Warlock might want to be moving around with these Dire Avengers as opposed to the Banshees going forward. That said, now the Wraithguard are on the field fully upgraded with their Warlocks, so they can actually move around with a bit of speed. And with a bit of speed, I mean just a little bit. They're actually extremely slow without the Warlock, and the Warlock just makes them tolerable, essentially, when moving around the map. It looks like Big Mathis doesn't want to wait around any longer. He's going on to the center of the map and moving in on the gen farm over here. Scout's moving up a little dangerously close, dropping a grenade down there, but it doesn't quite connect. And now Wraithguard's blasting away at that Devastator, taking out 2 models in a single volley right there. One got turned into bits. Banshees ripping through those tactical Marines. Scouts in dire straits as well, and managing to get out of there with just, it looks like, the Sarge and 1 Initiate. Warlock now engaging the last remaining squad of tactical Marines, but it looks like Adila might be losing his gen farm once again with these Wraith Lord on the field. They're going to be blasting that thing away rather quickly between that and the Banshees. Warlock even just buying a little bit of time, getting super aggressive right in their face. With all these various webway gates around on the field, I guess he doesn't have to feel as bad. Oh man, he's even putting one down right next to the gen farm over there. I would actually probably put that maybe like back here or something, but that might have been too close. You don't want it to be in vision of the generators. You want it to be just out of sight. Oh my gosh, those Scouts narrowly escaping death with 10 HP. Oh, he just got a new squad, and that Sarge is heading back on his own once again. Chapter's probably raising eyebrows at that. Can't be losing Space Marines like that, even if they're just initiates. Come on, Sarge. Oh man, it looks like the Tech Marine actually went down over here against the Dire Avengers. Perhaps just a micro slip up, because that looks like it was probably just some steady DPS that took him out. But Tech's now moving back out on the field. Both upgraded with their Sarges. Adila now getting quite a bit of resource. I'm not sure at this point he's got to be saving up for what I can only imagine would be a Dreadnought. I think against the I guess with the Wraith Guard, a Razorback wouldn't have been great, but a Razorback would have kind of stopped a lot of this map control held by the Dire Avengers, and it also allows your scouts to kind of roam around inside of the Razorback and deal with all of these various webway gates. I like Razorbacks against Eldar a whole lot. Oh no! Oh, Devastator turned into a bloody mess there. Just a bunch of poor Devastator bits. Being a little too aggressive capping there, and I'm not sure he recognized that there was a webway gate right next to that victory point, because the Eldar forces popped right out and fired a volley right into that injured Devastator. So now down to just 3 squads. The army disparity is growing at this stage of the game. It does have the Dreadnought, one of my favorite units, coming out here shortly, so I'm excited for that. It should be a pretty huge impact on the field right now. Big Mathis has very little in the ways of anti-vehicle. He has the Wraith Guard, of course, which can deal with smaller vehicles like transports relatively easily if they can catch them while they're not on the move. But even so, that can be tricky for them because they do have such a slow firing speed. Dreadnought's out on the field. Oh, look at this little guy. He's so great. Oh, he's even got like a little Red-Rupee on his armor. I love this guy. Oh, and just as I zoom in, he takes a Wraith Guard blast to the face, but this thing is nice and tanky. Oh, he actually activated Blessing of the Omnissiah to just go ahead and deter any further advancement from those Wraith Lord. Warlock trying to do what he can there, but decided better of it. I don't think that's a battle he could have won, and I'm not sure if Adila does know this webway gate is here. Scouts are a bit too far away to spot it. Let's see if they manage to spot that, because if that webway stays here, Adila's just never going to have any power this game. And we can see with Big Mathis already into Tier 3 and building resources, he can have out a Tier 3 squad here or vehicle relatively shortly. And again, man, Mathis just relentless with these webway gates, not giving these tactical Marines a moment's rest. They've activated their defensive ability on their Sarge, but not able to stick around even under all that firepower. Dreadnought finding that webway gate once again. And gonna go ahead and punch it down. Warlock hops in just in the nick of time before it gets obliterated. Webway gate is closed permanently right there. But again, here we go. As soon as Mathis is just playing the map really hard right now, and it's got to be very frustrating for the Tech Marine. Really taking advantage of the fact that this double tack squad build is not very mobile. And a fire prison coming onto the field. Warlock getting the decap 215 to 323. Despite, I feel like Adila being on the back foot, he is keeping the victory points relatively in check. He's about 100 behind now, so he does have to be very aware of that going forward at this stage. Tactical Marines, I feel like these poor Tactical Marines haven't had time to heal up at base pretty much most of the game. I don't think I've seen a full health squad of Tactical Marines since Tier 1, really. Scouts finding themselves some Banshees, but not quite ready to deal with them. Nice looking grenade, though. Does take a big chunk of health off of those Banshees, so they will be weakened for the coming engagement. But even so, they can just hop in the webway gate, hop on home, heal themselves up. I've really liked seeing these Guardians, or these Dire Avengers rather, controlling this eastern side of the map. Adila's been doing a good job of keeping his wreck bleed in check. Oh no, did he see that webway gate and then not finish it off? Oh, that's a bit of an oversight, unfortunately. But Adila's been managing his bleed fairly well, considering he's rarely ever had his own natural requisition points. He's going to have to really play reserved going forward if he doesn't want to... Oh my gosh, speaking of playing reserved, all these scouts probably going 5 HP. I thought they were down. Third time now that Sarge is headed on home on his own. That's a lonely, lonely Sarge. I'm sure the scouts at this point, the initiates, are like, listen, I don't want to be in his squad. Every time he goes out, he comes out by himself. 200 points to 306 right now. A lot of little small skirmishes all over the map. Adila instantly getting a rocket launcher upon spotting that fire prism. Dreadnought probably, I don't know, what could the Dreadnought do? The Dreadnought probably wants to go for a ranged option at this point. I'd venture to say a Melta would be probably pretty solid, but maybe he wants to go for the assault cannon. But with that fire prism on the field, you probably don't want to be charging full on into that without some sort of ranged option on that Dread. And we can see, oh man, I mean, Big Mathis already has a fire prism on the field, and Adila's just struggling to keep his squads reinforced at this stage. With only the 2 squads of tactical marines, they are, I think they're almost level 3, so they are getting fairly beefy, but the Eldar forces are just growing. It sounds like, yeah, man, the Wraith Guard, again, just making sure there's never any power up for Adila. Adila's built so much power this game, and it just gets obliterated. His Dreadnought must have walked by this and attacked it on its own, and he didn't realize that it was right there. Assault Marine going down, or sorry, Assault Cannon coming on as a Space Marine goes down to the Wraith Guard. Double rocket launchers on those tactical marines. It's definitely not what you want to have to buy, but sometimes rocket launchers are what you need. A Devastator would not be great against this fire prism. The fire prism outranges it, and it can always get out of position if it needs to and dodge away from any sort of las cannon. So, oh man, a Warp Pro coming down here, I think, yeah, pulls the entire Space Marine force right into the thick of it. Grenades going down, but just a split second too late. The scouts take it right in the face, and that Sarge heads on home. Once again, the loneliest Sarge. Tech Marine getting in there with the powerful sweep, knocking Banshees all over the place. Tax still going down, taking volleys from those Wraith Guard. Wraith Guard just dodging in and out of those webway gates all over the place, appearing at the most inopportune time. They shall know no fear gets activated, and now the Dreadnought's just moving on in there. Oh, perfect timing there. I thought those Tax were going to go down, but luckily that Warlock on the Wraith Guard gets obliterated. Fire Prism still blasting away at tactical marines here. 118 to 306 as the Warlock just continues to hack away at Space Marine after Space Marine. Even next himself a Sergeant right there. Lots of Tax getting obliterated. One squad down to a single model. The other squad lost its Sarge. Adila trying to do whatever he can to stay in this game, but he's just lost so much requisition and now falling further and further behind on tech. As Big Mathis, oh, he's going to have an Avatar on the field shortly. No question there. Actually, let's see. Actually, he's at 90 of 100 pop caps, so he can't actually get an Avatar. Oh man, the Fire Prism taking another rocket to the face! But wasn't quite enough to finish it off. Very dangerous, though. I'm not sure what Mathis was doing right there, but almost lost his Fire Prism for it. Fortunately for him, it's still on the field. Even if that Fire Prism went down, though, it still wouldn't be decisive. Adila is still in a pretty dire situation, as Big Mathis does have so much resource in the bank. Even if he managed to take out that Fire Prism, it would come right back onto the field. And a Tarantula turret here in the center. I don't know what to think of that. I feel like between the Wraith Guard and the Fire Prism, that's going to be a fairly easy target, even though it is static. Looks like Guardian's trying to, or Dire Vendors, he must have been throwing those away. He wouldn't have just lost that trying to cap, would he? Let's see. You know what? He probably was trying to clear up pop cap right here. Let's see if he purchases something here in a moment. How much pop is an Avatar? Because I bet that's what he's looking for. And now we've got a big engagement happening here in the center. Fire Prism obliterating tactical marines. 2 drop in a split moment there. Does it get... Oh, the last one gets singled out by that focus beam. It hasn't been using the spread beam much, surprisingly, but that focus beam is doing serious damage. Banshee's managed to flank just outside of the Tarantula turret's arc right there. Another tactical marine going down. Tarantula turrets in dire straits. Oh, but the Warlock goes down again on those Wraith Guard. I'm not sure if that was a high-powered shot or what. And actually getting upgraded to a missile launcher turret on that Tarantula. An interesting choice there. So much getting sacrificed for Adila to try to push forward and hold this point. He's lost so many models. And he's been very aggressive with his Dreadnought, which I actually like because it's been working out for him. Well, we've got a drop coming in. This can't... I don't think he had the resource for a Vendread. Okay, no, it's not a Vendread. But he might be able to take out that squad if he just gets one punch in. Oh, not quite going to be able to do it, it looks like. More attacks on the field to replace the squad that was lost. Wraithguard still blasting away at that Dreadnought, though it's getting perilously low on health, especially with that Fire Prism in tow. But that said, the Tarantula turret with the rocket launcher will actually be able to kind of deter the Fire Prism from moving forward on its own. So at least it's got that going for it. That said, I'm still not sure it was the right choice. We saw in that last engagement, I guess, it didn't really do too much. The Banshees managed to get around it. I feel like I would have liked to have seen it maybe covering this side completely and then maybe have the Dreadnought over here as a deterrent for those Banshees to move in on their own. Big Mathis does have the Avatar coming in, and that might be the last thing to seal the deal because I don't know what Adila's going to do about a Dreadnought, an Avatar. He just doesn't have the army necessary. Like, the Avatar at the endgame is kind of just like a check to say, like, hey, you either need a full army or you're going to lose the game right now, because if you don't have enough to at least focus that Avatar down, or at least deter it from just marching into your army and dropping Wailing Dooms and all those kind of nasty abilities. What's the other one? Kane's Wrath? Lots of potential AoE and disruption on that Avatar. It's not necessarily a high damage unit, but it's tanky and it causes a lot of disruption. It's just going to be there in your face, causing trouble. More webways going down all over the place. Adila's had not a gen farm the entire second half of this game, and we're really seeing the kind of result of that. What that's yielded for Big Mathis is we're seeing a fully kitted out Tier 3 Eldar army against the remains, really, of a Tier 2 Space Marine force. Both TAC Marines upgraded. Lots of rocket launchers purchased at this stage in the game. Avatar is now moving in, just pushing forward, seeing what's out here, and he's finding that it's not really too much. Nothing that it can't deal with. It is taking a lot of focused fire. But with the Eldar forces moving in on the back line here, Assault Cannon Barrage going down, trying to prevent that decap. It actually got canceled there, unfortunately. Fire Prism still a little beat up, but with the Avatar moving up in the front. Oh, here we go, the Wailing Doom with the Warp Throw. Let's see if it lands. Perfectly placed. 2 Space Marines get obliterated. Only a single one left there, but on the other side of the engagement, it looks like the Space Marines are pushing forward rather aggressively. Only a single more rocket taking that Fire Prism out. Let's see if the Tactical Marines can find the moment to fire it. They get the line of sight, hits it, takes it out. Still an Avatar and a Warlock on the field, though. I'm not sure if there's enough on the Space Marine side to really take advantage of the down Fire Prism. Big Mathis, of course, would be able to repurchase it if he wanted, but the Avatar's pretty beat up. Dreadnought moving in, trying to get these Guardians off of the point. It's 93 to 169 with the 2-0 cap. Adila struggling to remain relevant in this game with those Banshees back there, harassing the back line, making sure those TACs can't come back out. The way Big Mathis has been using his army is very excellent. He's kind of really had all of the squads exactly where he needed to throughout most of the game. The Banshees have been right in their face whenever they needed to be. And as we saw in the mid-game, like those Dire Avengers just controlling the eastern side of the map, really making sure that Adila had no spare requisition whenever possible. If he had kept those rec points throughout the game, Adila would have been able to repurchase that power relatively easily after losing it that second time, but not being able to control your own rec just makes it really difficult to get back into the game. I mean, even at this stage of the game, you can see the difference in pop cap, but even so, they still have relatively similar, I mean, a difference of about 10 requisition per minute, when ideally Adila should be well ahead of Big Mathis in resource generation simply because his army size is much smaller. He's still holding strong though, 27 to 169, but everything's getting back out onto the field, popping out through those warp gates. There just hasn't been a moment's rest for these Space Marines. Dreadnought unfortunately goes down. Oh, I'm gonna miss you, buddy. Tech Marine trying to get a cap, but recognizes it's not going to happen, not with Banshees and an Avatar breathing down his neck. Tactical Marines level 4, but even level 4 Tactical Marines aren't going to be able to hold against these Howling Banshees, Wraithguard, Warlock, Dire Avengers, and Avatar. A little bit of everything. There's just nothing he can do. Adila's down to just a few scant squads here as he's bringing a Plasma Cannon onto the field, and that's just not going to be what he needs at this stage in the game. So I'd venture to say he's down and out. I'm not sure as far as what he could have done better. I mean, just losing that power time and time again. I know it's difficult when you have Wraithguard popping in and out of webway gates to really keep an eye on your power all the time, but if you know there's a webway gate over there, you really have to be vigilant in hunting that down, or at least keeping your army close enough to the power that you can kind of lock it down. Power is so very important for Space Marine in the kind of mid to late game there. I feel like it's normally kind of an uphill battle until that mid tier 2 if you're missing that power as a Space Marine player. But man, just Marines dying left and right here, getting ripped apart by those Eldar as the last couple victory points tick away there. And wow, really solid play there from Mathis. Adila was kind of bringing it back there in the mid game, but after that Dreadnought hit and he lost his gen farm for the last time, Mathis just screamed ahead in power. Let's see, where are the webway gates? There's one here, there's one here, there's one here. I mean, there's just Eldar all over the place, and really Mathis just had the squads exactly where he needed to have them. It was great positioning by him, great Eldar play. I was hoping to see some Tech Marine action there, but unfortunately he didn't quite cut it. Even so, great showing by both players. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming going forward, a lot more casting as well, so feel free to stop by the channel, stop by the Twitch stream, drop me a line on Facebook, Twitter, all the social media nonsense, and send me your replays if you want them cast, because I will certainly make that happen. This is Red Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.